share my screen. Okay. Okay. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Beyond Barnard Internship Program Information Session for Spring 2023. My name is Zena Jones. I am the Internship Program Coordinator at Beyond Barnard. I've been working with the Beyond Barnard Internship Program for quite some time now, for at least 8 years now. So I've seen it gone through a lot of changes and phases, but we have successfully landed on a good way of running the program. So now we are at this point at spring 2023. We made some changes, but we are still effectively running the program basically the same way. So I'll get started with the presentation and go through what we will be talking about in the information session today. So like I said, we're going to just have a program overview of the benefits, the eligibility and requirements of the program. And then I'll go through some application items such as important dates. We'll walk through some of the questions on the application, and then we'll have time for some question and answer, okay? All right, so let's get started. So the basic information I know everyone wants to know is how much is the internship program grant? So the grant is still at $1,000 stipend. That's less any compensation that you may be receiving from your internship. If you're getting some sort of stipend payment from your internship, that will be deducted from the $1,000 stipend. And since the $1,000 is paid through payroll, you would have to complete some formal payroll forms such as a W-4 and I-9. The W-4 is used to basically let payroll know where you want your money to go, and for the IRS to make any adjustments and deductions based on your W-4. So you might see some taxes come out of your stipend, so it might be coming out, it'll come out a little less than $1,000. And I think the main things that come out as far as taxes are like Social Security and Medicare, just the basics that everyone gets taxed on. So that will, I see a question come out.
Hi,
Yes.
I just wanted to say, I didn't know if you can see in the chat, you were sharing your email with us. I'm not sure if you wanted to be doing that, but we can see just your Gmail page.
My Gmail page?
Yeah, you're just sharing your screen, and maybe that's intentional. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that. Hold on one second. Let me just close this. I apologize for that. Hold on one second. Can you see, can everyone see my screen now?
I just see a black, like the back of your screen. Yeah, that has like your PC stuff on the side, recycle bin on the side, but not like a presentation.
That's strange. Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, now it's pulled up.
Okay, I guess it's like just showing one screen. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Hold on one second. Okay. Thank you for that, Finn. I appreciate that. Okay, let's get back to the show. Sorry about that, everybody. So where I left off was talking about the stipend and how the stipend will be taxed. It will be taxed, so it would come out a little less than $1,000. Programming will be available for all interns participating in the program, and you will be available and be able to access a community of fellow interns, which is very important because you guys are pretty much basically a good resource for each other to kind of bounce off ideas, share availability at your internships, because a lot of our internship organizations love Barnard students. So the more you can share and spread the word that your internship is hiring or they're looking for more interns, the better. And we have photographed here Natalia Vasilik. She is an alum now, but she was a summer 2020 Beyond Barnard Internship Program intern. So this is one of the photos that we use for either Instagram or the newsletter or both. So once you're in the program and you start getting the newsletter, you'll see us asking if you want to share your internship footage with us. So just be on the lookout for that once and if you're selected for the program. Okay, so let's go over the eligibility. And some of you may have, if you completed the interest form that we sent out, some of you may have reviewed the eligibility and policies and program description in Handshake, and it's located in Handshake in the resources section. It should be visible now. I know some people had reached out to us and said that they couldn't see it, but hopefully it's there now. I made sure I pinned it and made sure hopefully that it's showing up in your newsfeed on Handshake. So hopefully that's visible to everyone. So you should have reviewed that before you go through the application, but just a few items to go through. You do not have to have an internship right now, but you will need to confirm your internship within 10 days after being notified from Beyond Barnard that you got the grant. So if you're still in the application phase, it's totally fine. You can still apply for funding with the Beyond Barnard internship program right now. And then when you hear back from your internship, you can let us know that you have confirmed your internship and you're good to go. Currently enrolled first year sophomores, juniors, seniors can participate in the program right now. First years were not eligible for the fall, but first years are now eligible for the spring and summer. Excuse me. International students are also eligible as long as you have a social security number and a secured CPT. And remote internships are eligible. We got a few questions about that in our general inbox, but remote internships are definitely eligible, and in-person internships have to comply with social distancing guidelines. And if you've received a grant before and you're here again, just make sure that you know that any prior recipients will be given lower priority than first-time applicants. So what happens is if we get a lot of applications from people who've never received the grant before, those applicants will take priority, and then we will review any prior recipients. And if there's funding available, then those prior recipients will definitely receive funding. But if funding is not available, then we would have to go with people who have not received the grant before at all. Okay. Research work at Columbia University and Barnard is not eligible for the grant support through BBIP. And that's been a long-standing requirement and eligibility, part of the eligibility criteria. I think that's because of the donor and donor criteria is set in place, and that's part of the criteria. So I think that's why that's there. If you have an internship working with a political campaign and organizations that proselytize, that would not be eligible for funding. However, you work with a political campaign behind the scenes, you're doing administrative work, but you're not in the forefront or on the front lines of a political campaign, that would be acceptable. But for the most part, if you are in the forefront of a political campaign, or if you're proselytizing for like a religious type of organization, that's not eligible for funding. Any projects with student organizations, such as a service trip, that require you to raise money or to pay some sort of fee, those are not available as well. Some of the requirements to apply for the internship program, your internship should be 65 hours total for the semester. That averages out to between 6 and 7 hours per week. If you don't work six or 7 hours, between 6 and 7 hours per week, but you know that you're gonna make the 65 hour total for the semester, that's totally fine. Internships should be unpaid or minimally compensated, as I discussed earlier. If it is minimally compensated, it will be deducted from your stipend. And once you're accepted, some of the requirements include a program agreement that will go to your supervisor, where Beyond Barnard would introduce themselves and let them know that you are participating in the Beyond Barnard internship program, and here's what to expect. And then we confirm any information with the internship organization, as far as hours, stipend payment, start and end dates, just all the necessary things that we need to know. A thank you note will also be required, and that's required very early on in the program. So once you're notified, I would suggest, if you're notified that you have received the grant, that you just get your thank you note right out immediately, because that's something that's required immediately. So BB advising meeting is required, so you would have to schedule a meeting with an advisor at Beyond Barnard. If you schedule an appointment with a PCA, one of our peer career advisors, that's also fine. And I would suggest also, if you're notified that you're receiving the grant, that you get right on that also, because appointments do book up very quickly. We will also be asking for reflection on your internship experience, either either by you can type it up, or you can record a video of yourself talking about your experience. That's totally fine. But details about that will also be in the newsletter. And desired but not required, attend Beyond Barnard events. We have a lot on schedule on deck for the spring, so make sure you stay in touch with Handshake and just scan through the events to see which ones pique your interest. An important note that if you have received a grant before and you have not met the requirements, you will not be eligible to receive funding in the subsequent cycle. Students will have to submit, you have to submit an application statement in order to be considered for future cycles. So if you are selected for this cycle and we haven't received a thank you letter, or we haven't received a program agreement, or any of the other requirements, we would have to ask you, if you want to apply for the summer, to let us know why you should be selected for the summer. Okay, so we've gone over the benefits, eligibility requirements. So we'll get into the application. The application is open now. It is in Handshake, like I said, in the resources section of Handshake. It opened up yesterday, and it's basically straightforward application. We'll go through that just a few minutes. The application deadline is Tuesday, February 7th at 12 noon. So please make sure that you get your application in, try to get your application in before 11:59 p.m. Notifications will go out to all applicants the week of February 13th, and you will have time to accept or decline your award by Thursday, February 23rd. So we will send another form. Once you're notified, we'll send another form out to ask you to fill out and let us know that you're accepting or you're declining your award. The orientation after accept decline deadline will go out, will happen on February 23rd at 12. We asked for, on the application, just standard personal information. If you're a previous grant recipient, and just as a reminder, we do prioritize new grantees, but we consider all applicants. Any specific affiliations, such as first generation, if you're a first generation college student, if you are participating in any opportunity programs, if you're registered with cards, and we asked if you're registered with cards because one of the donors in the program is specifically for students who are registered through cards. So that's the reason why we asked that question. If you're a financial aid recipient, same thing. A couple of the donors asked for, are interested in funding students who are financial aid students. If you're an international student, and like I said, donors specify their criteria with one of these items. So this is the reason why we ask these questions. It's not used for criteria for acceptance into the program. So just some basic background information. We also asked for your internship information, such as the organization's name, start and end dates, compensation, so that we know if we need to deduct your compensation from your grant. The organization's mission, we asked for at least 75 words letting us know what your organization's mission is and your internship responsibilities. There is a cover letter that you, excuse me, should upload to the application. We ask that you make sure that it is for BBIP and not for your internship. And just tell us why we should fund you. Tell us why you think you are best suited to receive an internship grant. We asked for your resume. Also, we're looking for quality, and it's good to have your resume reviewed by a PCA. So if you can get in before the deadline and have a PCA review your resume. I'm not sure when they start working this semester, but if you can get in to get your resume reviewed by one of our advisors, that's totally fine as well. It's good to have another set of eyes on your resume. So see if you can get in before the deadline if you can. We send out a BBIP weekly newsletter, and that will include all information about requirements, any deadlines, any internships that we hear about, any internship opportunities that we hear about. We will definitely plug them into the newsletter and keep you informed. Any Instagram takeovers, alumni conversations, roundtables with former BBIP internship program recipients. We also put available resources in their internship sites. Organization database is in Handshake. So if you go to the resources section and you look at where I think it's titled Where We've Been, there's a whole list of organizations where any prior internship program recipients where they interned is listed there. So if you're still in the running or looking for an internship and you're not sure what to or where to apply, just look through that list and see which one is best suited for you. They're always looking for Barnard students, like I said. So definitely try a hand on that list. And recordings and virtual resources are also in Handshake. So definitely take advantage of the resources section in Handshake. And that is the conclusion of the internship program information session for spring 2023. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and open up for any questions. Stop share. Okay. So does anybody have any questions about the program? What to expect? I do want to make a note also that if you plan on applying, you should make sure that you have all your documents on deck. Your passport, if you have a passport, or your birth certificate, social security card. I know these things are a little difficult to kind of keep on campus. I know as a parent myself of a 19-year-old, I don't like her walking around with her social security card and a birth certificate and all the important things. So if you could just let your parents or guardian know that you are applying for this program and you need these official documents and you will promise to send them back home. Please do so, because we're going to be asking, well, payroll is going to be asking for those documents in order to apply. Okay. So are there any questions? I see one in the chat. Are acceptance rates of BBIP made public for previous years? Acceptance rates, as far as like numbers, statistics, those are made public, I guess with Barnard campus, but and on the website. So those are made public, but anything that involves like personal information, we don't publicize, if that answers your question. Yes, Elsie?
Yes. Does Barnard have any resources for finding unpaid internships?
Yes, so we do have a list of internship organizations in Handshake in the resources section. So if you go to let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, I guess I closed out the tab already. My apologies. But if you go to the resources section in Handshake and go to the tab that says where we've been, it's labeled under Beyond Barnard Internship Program and where we've been, and you'll be able to see a list of organizations that where Barnard students have interned and have received funding for the internships. And I can send you, actually, I will put my email in the chat and just email me to remind me, but I can send you the list of internships. Sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, of course. Any other questions about the internship program?
Hi, I'm curious about the summer BBIP, because I went on Handshake in the resources tab and it looks like only the spring application is open. So I was curious about the timeline for the summer and if there's anything different that we need to be aware of for the summer besides that it's more funding.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I heard the last part of your question because there was a big truck passing through and I didn't get to catch the first part, but you want to know about summer?
Yeah, summer. I know that it's a bit more funding, but I was just curious when the application opens, when it closes, the dates for that. And also, honestly, like how competitive it is, because for me getting funding, like I need it in order to be able to not like do restaurant work, like to be able to do an internship. So just kind of planning my summer and figuring that out.
Of course, of course. So the summer will open up in March. It typically opens up early March, about maybe the second week of March. So, and then it closes around the first to second week of April, just to give folks time to apply for housing, because housing sets their deadline. I think in late April. So yeah, we open up the application for summer in March. The competitiveness of the application is very competitive, especially for summer. Just because a lot of folks are doing internships in the summer. We get a lot of applications for summer and with very limited funding. So I would say uh, it's very competitive, and just to make sure that if you have received, if you're more if it's more important to you to do your internship in the summer than the spring, I would say to hold off on applying for funding until summer, because we do prioritize people who never received the grant before, and we don't want to risk the chance of phasing anyone out if you receive the grant before and you aren't able to receive the grant for summer. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay, if there's no more questions for now, I want to thank you all for coming. I put my email in the chat. And like I said, the application is open now. The deadline is February 7th at 12 noon. And of course, you can stay behind if you have another question. But if anyone else has to go, feel free, and just reach out if you have any questions at Beyond Barnard, or you can email me directly. Hope you have a good rest of your day. It's nice out, so enjoy. Thanks for coming, guys.
I just have one more question, sorry.
Oh, no, of course. No worries.
Yeah, so you said that the acceptance rates were made public. Do you know where I could find them online?
They should be on the website. If they're not, I'm gonna stop recording.